Hello again, everyone. I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. It is a pleasure to be joined once again by the great Thug Rose Namajunas, who was victorious on Saturday at UFC 251 against Jessica Andrade. Always kind enough to join us on the program. Great to talk to her as always. First off, Rose, thank you for the time and congrats on the big win Saturday night.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was
So
great.
obviously, want to ask about how you're feeling. The black eye, the nose. First off, how is the nose feeling?
That hurts. That hurts. Turns out my nose is broken. But everything else is good. They were worried about my eye, but everything's fine with my eye. Just my nose hurts.
Do you need surgery?
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for my deviated septum, I think it would be something that I could live with. But yeah, that the deviated septum feels really uncomfortable.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah.
surgery scheduled for the next few days?
No, so I have an appointment to see somebody on Friday to kind of get all that figured out.
Okay. Is it hard to breathe?
Sometimes actually right now it's good.
Okay. How
Yeah, but sometimes it'll get stopped up.
how's the eye?
The eye feels good. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just
It's just colorful.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was really big before, but now it's like drained a lot. Like it's healing really fast.
Okay. And
Yeah.
the flight back home, was it, with the pressure and everything, did that make it worse?
Yeah, because we didn't really get a chance, because the fights ended. I was in the hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is weird. and then um and then we were there for a while. We had to go. They made us wear like all hazmat suits because
Wow.
we were outside of the safe zone or whatever. And it took us a while to get back, and then we had to quarantine in our room at the hotel, and they wouldn't even let us go back to the room we were staying in. So we had to have our teammate or Chico pack up our stuff for us. And then and we just had to wait until the airport. But we didn't really get that much time in between going to the airport from the flight or from the fight. So it was it was a lot of pressure in the air. For
Yeah.
15 hours too is a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Would you have liked to have chilled out a day or two to let the swelling go down, or were you happy to go home right away?
I mean, yeah, there's always yeah, that would have been nice, but I'm always ready to come home. I guess if we were in Hawaii or something, I don't know. I feel like if we were a little closer to home or if there were things that were open, but and yeah, there's things we could have did, but I'm so ready to get home after a fight.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the first time you beat Joanna, you guys like drove home in the middle of the night, right? Like right after?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
No.
actually, that was from Kansas City though when I fought Michelle Watterson. We rode home that same night.
Yeah. So I guess some people like to party and celebrate. You guys just like to get back to your home, which I respect
Yeah,
very
because that's where
much.
the party is, man.
That's right. That's
Actually,
right.
we did have a good time in when we landed in Vegas. We had a good time because we had to stay at the hotel, and it was just fun. We just stayed up all night talking about the fight and stuff, and it was good. Plus, Vegas is kind of like a second home for me, so I feel really comfortable there. And yeah, I can't sleep after a fight anyways. It usually takes me a day or two, so we just stayed up all night, just laughing, joking.
By the way, speaking of being comfortable, I know, when we talked before the fight, you were saying, initially I didn't love the idea of going overseas and it's so far away. Overall, how was the experience in Abu Dhabi for you?
Um, it was challenging, but it was also very rewarding. There was lots of ups and downs. The flight there was the one thing that I was crossing my fingers, because we didn't really get told the situation. We kind of had to just take a leap of faith that everything was gonna be safe, everything's gonna be cool. Going there, the conditions, we had nothing to base it off of. So I was crossing my fingers that we were gonna get a decent accommodation for flying that long. But I also know that there's a chance we might be with the luggage just uncomfortable. But no, but yeah, I was super when we got first class seats and it was that nice. I was super I felt like royalty, and I felt really excited to go and do some work, and there was a huge incentive for me. And then once we got to the hotel, it got a little chaotic. There was a bunch of like, I think just because it was the first event there, there was a lot of things that were not accommodating, like, because our sleep schedule had to be, we slept during the day and then we'd be up at night because we fight at 6 in the morning. So there was just the food would come at all odd hours. Like everybody would like be knocking on our doors. Like we had to do like like sometimes, well, the schedule at first was like interviews during the day, and it's like that's when I'm sleeping. So
Mm.
there was things that we had to like adjust to, and then I think once like enough people started complaining, it was like it started to change a little bit because it was just like this is ridiculous. Like I think because yeah, it's just hard to think of all those things before you get there, and then but it got better towards the end of the week.
Being stuck in the room for 48 hours as well, like in Vegas and then in Abu Dhabi, that might be frustrating, I would imagine too, when you're trying to like work out before a fight and everything like that.
It was a little frustrating. However, I hit a really good workout like before I left. Like I ran like 6 miles, and then we did like a little bit of moving around and stuff before flying to Vegas. That like I was ready for like 2 days off. But
Okay.
however, what was I gonna say though? Um, Dang it. Oh no, I was gonna say that like normally, like I'm kind of used to keeping to myself during fight week anyway, like any chance that I can get. However, I think the fact that they're like so it wasn't too hard for me to make that adjustment because I'm like, great, we just sit in our room, we don't have to go nowhere. However, the fact that we couldn't, like there was just like there was limited things to do, then it kind of made it like, yeah, I kind of want to go somewhere. Like, but we went for a walk outside like one day, like before the sunrise, and one time during the day, and that was way too hot. So it was like there's nothing to do anyways.
How are you feeling like right before the fight in the locker room? This was your first fight back, fighting the same person who just, beat you and took your belt away
Yeah.
and all that. What were the emotions and the nerves like right before the fight?
So this is probably, I only had one other fight where I was like the least amount of nervous like I was this time. Um and that's when I fought Randall Marcos on Ultimate Fighter. That was like every other fight I just been a mess. Um but this time I was just so content with and proud of myself for all the improvements that I've made and just the growth that I made, that like I was just okay with whatever. And I'd say the only time I really it hit me that I was like the nerves hit me was Friday, like the weigh-ins. I was just like I didn't get good sleep because the sleep was or the weigh-ins was during sleep hours, and it was a mess. But um or I was a mess at that time, and then the nerves started getting in. But and then even fight day there was a little bit of nerves, but other than that I was really calm and just enjoying myself as much as possible. And then the locker room, once we got to the arena though, that was the best energy. Like it was really good. We had, like I think it was one of the Russian dudes in there before me, and then it was Max Holloway and Kamaru, and it was just a really good vibe in there. I really enjoyed it. And I think a big part of that, like it reminded me of being at home because the garage that I turned into a gym, I made that because I really enjoyed training in there for this training camp because it reminded me of a locker room feel because it's like kind of a similar
Mm.
size, and it really prepared me for getting in the right state of mind.
So I think most people thought it was like a tale of two fights. First two rounds clearly went to you. Third round to her. Ultimately, you win via decision.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the first two rounds because I was getting flashbacks of that first fight against her in that first round.
Yeah.
Again, the striking was beautiful to watch. You seemed on point. You seemed comfortable. You were fluid. You were. I mean, you were feeling it out there. Did you like what you were doing? Did you like the way those first two rounds went?
I loved it. Yeah. And I loved it even considering how good Andrade, like how much improvement she had made. Like I still was very happy with the level of, prepared that I was, even given all that. So um yeah, I was really happy with everything. Going into the third, I knew she was gonna come out a little desperate, and so that was also like anticipating that was definitely like, ooh, okay, here we go, gotta be extra sharp, you know what I mean? And then obviously like I got caught. But overall I was just so proud of myself.
Um, once she broke your nose, was it late in the second that she broke your nose, or was it in the third?
Isn't it third?
Third, okay.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember getting punched. Even stuff that made contact, because I was standing my ground, and my defense was like on point like the entire time. Because even like the punches she was like making contact with, I had my defense, like it was hitting my arms and stuff. Like I have a bruise on my arm from one of her punches, like just clashing into my forearm, and I was like, dang, why my forearm hurt? It's like, no, that's how hard she was swinging those freaking punches, and I was blocking that. I have like bumps on my head from blocking her punches, my knuckling my own head. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the heat she was throwing. And so, but like my defense was on point. Like first 2 rounds, like I don't think I even got hit with not one thing. Not that I felt or remembered even from watching it. And yeah, the third, obviously, she hit me a little more than I remember getting hit too.
So second straight time that you fight someone back to back, right? Like the same thing happened with Joanna, now her. Do you
Yeah.
like that experience of getting familiar with the opponent, or are you ready for a complete change now?
I mean, obviously, I think, you know, um, yeah, it's definitely like rematches are challenging. Like they're super hard because they learn you, you learn them, and there's just a lot of thinking going into it. However, I'm a master at that. Like I'm a genius as far as like my fight IQ and stuff. So I think it does work in my favor. But yeah, it is a little more extra challenging, those fights. But obviously, I'm successful in all of my rematches. So it's something that I was excited about, but at the same time, I know it's gonna be a little daunting because I was trying to think of like what can she come with, um, in this fight, that she how can she improve, like what is she going to come differently with, because there's always going to be something different. But she always kind of fights the same way, like even throughout like her almost 30 fights, she's very like looks very similar every time. So I couldn't really think of anything other than like maybe she could throw some high kicks. And then for her to come out with that head movement and then come up with that uppercut, like she never threw an uppercut ever. So for her to do that kind of was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like I didn't think of that. So that took me by surprise. But yeah, I mean, I was still so prepared myself that it was just awesome. Yeah. Like I was able to deal with that.
Yeah, the head movement was a little different, but it seemed like you were able to find the target more often than not, especially in those first 2 rounds. That
Yeah.
was the first time in a little over 2 years that you got your hand raised. Did you miss that feeling? For those that have never experienced that, like you go through a whole training camp and everything you've been through, and then you finally have that relief. Did you miss
Yeah.
that sensation?
Oh yeah, every day, I think it's one of those things where I was forced to take my time, and I didn't really want to, but I knew that was the right decision. Like I want to just get right back in there and just, do it again. But it's like, no, like I have to be 100% ready. Like I have to make sure that I make all of the realizations and the mental growth that I need. Um, so yeah, like, you know.
I noticed that Pat Barry was your chief cornerman this time, and he was in the cage with you in between rounds. Trevor was behind. Why the switch for this particular fight?
Well, I think it was just time, like uh there's just different phases you go through your career. And I think the I mean, we still use a lot of the same, like a lot of Trevor's work came out into that fight, but it's just that we've relied on him for so long heavily that it was just time for. And it was also, I was able to hear, like, me and Pat's communication became a lot stronger and better, because like there's certain things that I was, asking for so long, and then he was trying to tell me for so long, that we finally started listening to each other and understanding each other. So like then I was able to actually implement his style and learn from him more. So it was just more of like more taking advantage of the missed time, I guess, over this, however long. Because I mean, he's actually been the head coach this whole time since I started. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just because I couldn't listen to him all the time, or because we maybe have a miscommunications or whatever. Like I and I think it was just time. Also, like me and Trevor was flowing so well, and there's so many valuable things that I learned from him that that's just what was, I guess, the phase.
So is this the plan moving forward, at least for now?
I mean, every day is you just take one day at a time, you know what I mean? Like that like everything was perfect actually. Like um just like the whole corner, like it was just the perfect dynamic. Because Trevor and Pat they're two opposite styles, but they complement each other so well. And because like Trevor, his strength is, his specialty is boxing, for MMA, but like he's so well at that. He's so good at that. And then Pat's like his specialty is like kickboxing is totally different style. It's like, standing your ground. It's like, having not as much movement, and like so just blending those two things together was perfect.
There was one point in the fight. I don't know if you've have you watched it back yet?
Yeah, well,
Watching it now.
actually, yeah, it's on right now.
Really?
Watching it
Wow,
now.
that's amazing. How many times have you watched it?
100.
Is that common for you guys?
Yep. But
Yeah.
not like this one. No.
Well,
no. This. I'm sorry.
Oh, this one,
This
there's
is
just so many things to like see in it,
Okay.
things that I didn't like see before, like just new little details that you see.
This fight's different.
This one is different too. Like I definitely like
This,
I became a different person coming out of that. That's one of those fights where you're a different person after that. You know what I
Really?
mean?
How so? How have you changed?
Just I ain't no itty bitty Rose no more. I ain't no kid no more,
You feel
Grown.
like you've matured
Yeah.
because of this fight?
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to dig down deep because of everything you've been through?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think and it's just like, uh I think I did have a little bit of like one of the fears that I had going into this fight was like because I knew I know I'm tough as hell. I know that I've pulled through some stuff. I've dealt with a lot of challenges and overcome lots of stuff. But when I've overcame those things, like there's a part of me that like was surprised kind of like by me being able to do that. Like, okay, well here it goes. Like here goes nothing. Whereas like me going into that, I was like fully confident, like I'm about to do this. Like it might run into some walls, might be scary. I know it's gonna be scary, but I'm just gonna run through the wall and like so having that confidence going into that, like it just was more validating, I guess.
That is great to hear. I was gonna ask about there was one point where they put the mic on your corner and Pat in particular in the middle of the fight, and he was shouting out just positive stuff. And then Michael Bisping, who was calling the fight, said, "This is what I like to hear from a corner: positive reinforcement, not talking so much, not a lot of coaching, just
Yeah.
backing up the fighter and all that." Were you able to hear that? Because I was wondering about Pat because he has such a loud voice and it was an empty arena. If maybe
Yeah.
now you could hear him more than if you're fighting in front of 18,000 people in a packed arena.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, like when it's packed, I can hear like specific things, like certain combinations. And it's crazy how he'll actually call out like the finish shot or like he'll call it before it come like the opening. It's kind of crazy how he sees it like before it happens. But and so those are like just a little bitty things that I hear. But this time I could hear him a lot more. And yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah.
Well, people were very complimentary of your striking, and I came across a boxing promoter, Lou DiBella. I don't know if you know who he is, but
Yeah, I saw his tweet. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, man, he's right. He's 100% right. Is that something that you would love to do? And for those that missed it, basically said that like your striking is so good, you can have a great career in pro boxing. It's kind of funny. We just had yesterday the first female main event in Top Rank ESPN
Yeah.
history. Michaela Mayer was the
Yes,
first.
I
Yeah,
trained with her. I trained with her
that's
in the
right.
past, and I can hang with her. I mean, she's a tough. Like she's got a lot of attitude. She's hard to deal with, but yeah, she's I've trained with her, and she's a super athlete and stuff. So, um, yeah, I would like that. That's something that I've thought about, before. But I love MMA, dude. I'm so passionate about it. Like, but yeah, I mean, you never know.
Right. So
Yeah,
obviously,
I love MMA though.
of course, of course.
Yeah.
So you win. Obviously, you have to heal up. But is Zhang Weili next? Are you fighting for the belt next?
Uh, yeah. Well, I mean, I would think so. No, we haven't really talked about it yet, but I mean, that's definitely the plan.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
like to fight again this year?
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the plan going into it. I just had to, get this nose fixed first. We'll see how. I don't know like what the recovery time is or whatever.
Did Dana or anyone at the UFC say that's what they want as well?
We haven't talked to anybody about anything.
Yeah, they've been kind of like, let me chill.
Fair enough.
We haven't. There's nothing been talked about. Nothing from nobody.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
no.
Fair enough.
They like really no. Not it hasn't even come up.
I think it's just so like there's
a lot of going on right now.
There's a lot of
no time
stuff.
to stop to talk about nothing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. I mean, shoot, there's fights. There's still fights going on. So
yeah, we walked in, we fought, we walked out. Like it was.
Yeah.
There was no time. I'm sure after these next two shows are over, maybe conversations will happen, but not like.
There's a lot that happens. So.
Yeah, but I was just curious if that's what you wanted as well, and it sounds like that is what you want, which I think a lot of fans would be very excited about and get behind. It seems like it's the fight that makes the most sense. I'm just curious, how do you think that fight goes? I know it's very premature now, but have you at least thought of her, watching her style? How do you like the matchup?
A little bit. I mean, yeah, I've ever since I saw her fight Tisha, I've been kind of like, scouting her out a little bit. And I think it's just gonna be, a beautiful display of mixed martial arts. Like, I mean, she's a master, I'm a master. Like it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be, I'm definitely have to have a lot more time to think about it.
I don't know if you saw the clip, but Daniel Cormier and I were talking about you versus her potentially on my show on Monday. I think it's a very competitive fight. He said he thinks that she's on a different level right now. Who's right, me or him?
Well, you know me. I mean, I think at this point, I feel like at this point, people would kind of like be like, man, every time Rose an underdog, she just proved everybody wrong. So, you know what I mean? Like, I would think that would catch on by now, but I guess not.
I saw the
game plan for Weili in the hospital in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah, we came up with
really
stuff. Yeah.
We started game planning for Weili in the hospital in Abu Dhabi.
But I also know, I mean, I know she's hitting sets right now too, so I know she don't sleep.
She's been trained. She's never taken it. Like we know Weili's never taken a day off ever. She's training right now. She watched that fight. She knows. Like everybody, like that's. We don't know what's next, but that seems like that would be what's next. We started game planning for that fight in the hospital an hour after the fight.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I would like I've been saying for a long time. I would love to fight her. I mean, she's awesome. Like she's really, really technical, really strong, just really overall like a master. So yeah, that's something that interests me a lot.
Is there something in particular about her style that impresses you?
Yeah, she's just like her cultural, like you could just see like just the culture that like she grows up, and you can really, it shows in her style, like just the discipline, just like she's like a robot, you know what I mean? Like she's like a cyborg like machine. Yeah.
Have you ever met I don't know if you saw, she paid you a compliment. She feels like you're a true martial artist, she told me. Have you ever met her before?
I can't remember. I feel like we may have like quickly just met really quickly, but honestly, like yeah, I don't totally remember, but maybe not.
Okay. All right. So that's what we want. Hopefully by the end of the year, if everything goes to plan, that is great news. I think a lot of people will be behind that. I just wanted to ask you before I let you go, after the fight, in the post-fight interview, you told John Anik that you're going to donate your fight kit, and all the proceeds are going to go to Susie Freeton, who's a longtime UFC employee who is beloved by everyone, who's going through a really hard time right now. So I just wanted to commend you on that, and think,
Thank you.
I think it's an amazing thing that you've done. Do you have any more information that people can find out about this, or how they can get behind it?
Yeah, so I'll be making a post really soon here. I just, there's been a lot, I had to just go to like the hospital and all that stuff. So I've been doing a lot of stuff, but I'll be working on that very soon. Just, go to my Instagram and just watch out for the next post that I make. I'll make a video just kind of giving more information on that.
You guys close?
What's that?
Are you guys close?
Oh yeah. We hung out many times before, so yeah, she was kind enough for us to like hang out at her house, and I love her dogs. They're so cute. You know, she's a really cool lady, and we've been knowing her for many years. So I just feel like and a lot of other fighters, you know, I think we all kind of love Susie because we're all like stressed out during fight week, and she's one of the many, like one of the few people that, like, part of the staff that during fight week is a source of comfort during fight
Right.
week. You know, just has a good energy. So yeah.
By the way, was this the first time in a while that your dog wasn't there with you?
No, so I didn't bring her to Brazil either.
Okay.
But this is the second time.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully next time you get to fight in the States. I'm assuming this next fight you would like it to be in the United States, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
After everything. Well, thank you as always for the time, Rose. Appreciate it very much. I hope you make a speedy recovery. Congratulations on the win. So great to see you back. Great to see you, with a smile and getting your hand raised. And what a great performance it was. So I hope you get that title shot as well. And thank you to Pat and congrats to the entire team for the great performance Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, YouTube, for live streaming sports and premium content. Subscribe to ESPN+.